All right, guys, I'm gonna play. And you know what? I've been perusing the YouTube streets, and I felt, you know what? There's nothing really going on, so I figured that if you're up right now, I would like to show some real content about like some real important things going on in the world today. A lot of people are vegan. A lot of people talk about veganism versus meat eating, things like that. With a lot of like the upgrades and things like that. We did like a show on Sugar Love's panel where we are talking about how they're going to be using soy and different like things to make fake meat and fake stuff in our food. So I chose today to like actually middle of the night because I'm just up, you know, to bring a really good live I just ran across with Napah and SaaNeter and this brother Enqi. And we're going to play a little bit of it, and I want you guys to watch the rest of it on their channel. I just want to go through a few things, some of the facts that they came up with on their show. So stay tuned. Here we go. Nice energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. Now is the time, it's all up to you. Alchemize your energy, my friend, let your mind be free. So I ran across this live and it's talking about to meet or not to meet. And I think it's very interesting. So I wanted to share it with you guys. And it's basically talking about our food and things like that. Sometimes we think that, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, it's so much better, blah, 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 right? But what I love about like SaaNeter and Nepal, what they bring to the table is they bring facts. They do their research, and they have these debates, and it's up to you to finally like make your final decision about what you think it is. But they bring some really good facts to the table. So let's like kind of go into what they're saying.
Plankton, which is basically we're talking about krill, and we're getting back to animal sources. Even if a blue whale or eats the, I think it's the one with the baleen, the whale, that the baleen whale eats the krill, that is a source of food. That is a good source of food for that animal. We as animals,
but algae is not meat though.
No, I'm not talking about algae. I'm talking about our diets and the sources of meat. I named seafood first, but I can also name eggs. Eggs are not in a vegan diet. I'm talking about animal products. Beef, chicken, egg, dairy, they're all vital sources of protein and other essential nutrients that we need in our diet. And just, I mean, if we could just look at the arguments that vegans use, which is first and foremost, which I don't disrespect the position of, okay, I don't want to kill to eat. However, in this ecosystem, everything essentially has to die for you to eat. In fact, animals have to die for plants to grow in the soil. You do agree with that, right? We're not just talking about fertilizing the soil with
no.
What do you use? No.
Animals don't have to die for plants to grow.
Well, animals do die. Everything in the soil is.
Well, animals die. People die.
Decomposing animals.
Right, but I'm saying decomposing animals are more probably important for oil and gas than it is. Like, you don't need a dead animal to fertilize your soil. You can use feces. You can use urine. I mean, that's you know,
Okay.
the waste products from animals are probably more important to fertilizing the soil than the actual dead animals.
So where are the dead animals at?
No. The dead animals die and they put, you know, they in the ground. But what
They're
I'm
in the
saying is
soil. They're in the soil, right?
My
correct. But
bad,
what I'm
guys.
saying is they're not required.
So I gave a whole diatribe, but y'all didn't hear me because I had my mic muted. But bottom line is that people that call themselves vegan talking about, oh well, I don't eat any animal products. Bottom line is you do, because guess what? If an animal poos to make that plant, then guess what? Your whole plant, the whole reason why it's even growing is because you're using animal urine and animal poop. So, which is, you know what I'm saying? That's how those things are used to grow, right? On top of that, when these major farms go out and create like in a farm, these machines are going through ravishing, cutting down, and killing. When they're cutting down the things, they're not using regular people anymore. We're not. There's no people like farming and doing this stuff. This is like machines doing this. And guess what they actually do? They end up cutting up a bunch of animals and you would be surprised how much of like lettuce and like different like crops and things like that they have to sift through and get all the dead parts of like mouses and rats and whatever else that come to eat the stuff, rabbits and whatever else. So as much as we want to talk about, oh, I'm a vegan, I'm a this, that, the other, well, or whatever, I don't know, I don't want to kill no animals. Well, guess what? It is what it is nowadays. Come on now.
Like farmers that farm, they don't necessarily bury animals where they grow their food. They don't, like, that's not a requirement.
No, that's not the point. The point is, in the ecosystem, animals are the soil. It's not about them being required. They are essentially the soil. Essentially, soil is decomposed animals. So that's my point. What I'm getting at is this.
Yeah, I would disagree with that too. The soil
Okay.
is definitely not like
So where are all the good animals?
when animals break down, right? Much of what you call flesh is gone. Much of what you call flesh is gone because you got to remember the body is mostly water. So
I'm not talking about
outside of that, I got you, but we're talking about a decomposing body.
Yeah.
Correct? Right. So that doesn't turn into necessarily dust per se or dirt, unless you're talking about the small percentage of, you know, mineral elements that's carried there. You got mostly water, then you got amino acids, which is going to break down. Like, so you don't necessarily get a straight conversion of a dead animal into soil.
Okay, so now we've established, I've made 2 points, that animals are important for our nutrients, because you have some fans in the chat saying, Enqi, be careful with her, be gentle with her, it's hilarious. Enqi knows, we know each other, we've had our little spar sessions before, but it's not even like a debate. However, it is a very hot topic and we're starkly opposed because anyone who knows about farming and even just basic, gardening, you know that the soil it's composed of different elements, different people do composting. It's not only plants, there's animal products in the soil, and it makes the soil rich. Getting off that's a what?
Poop, animal poop, feces, but you don't necessarily. You don't need the dead bodies. No, you don't put dead bodies in your soil. So
you don't compost. When you do compost, you don't put any type of animal flesh. If you are in an environment that composts, you don't have any type of animal flesh in the composting.
Most people that do composting, it's just food like fruits.
I compost
plant matter.
It's just plant matter. No, that is not true. But let's put that on the back burner and let's get back to because these are side arguments. I want to get back to veganism, which I want to get back on veganism.
Let me just ask you this, because this is a good subject though. So you put like animal bodies in your compost?
No, I don't put animal. My point is, if it can decompose and it can turn back to the soil, it's useful. If you're saying you're actually agreeing with me because you're saying fecal matter. You're saying an animal product is good for the soil. You're saying urine and fecal matter. Those are animal products.
But that's not a decomposing animal though. There's a difference between.
Okay. So where do these when we plant in the earth, when we plant in the soil, there's no decomposed animal in the soil? Then there's never been an animal that decomposed. I mean, this is I guess this is such a basic. I didn't think we were going to spend all the time on this, but I could pull up some information for those in the audience who are also very very ignorant.
Let's go.
I wanted to get deep. That's baby scratch. I want to talk about how vegans say I talked to our brother Young Pharaoh.
We got time.
No. I'm gonna put it all on the table. We could eat all of it. So Young Pharaoh, our brother Young Pharaoh's not here. He was like, in ancient times, we only ate this. None of these vegetables that you're eating today were even around. None of the plants were around 4,000 years ago. So I want to throw that out there too for all the vegans who are hilariously pretending that we ate plants only. We ate plants when we were a different type of species, a different type of organism, and we lived in trees. Once we ate meat, the expensive tissue hypothesis, because the thing about the decomposing, that's like third grade science. So I want to get on the good stuff because Enqi's a heavy hitter. I'm not going to stay on what decomposes in the soil. I think we all know that animals decompose in the soil, and we all understand that we plant food in that soil. I don't have to go on and on about that.
No,
Let's talk
no,
about.
Wait. Hold on. But
So you're still going to talk about that? Go ahead.
Definitely, because
so animals don't decompose and go into the soil.
Hold on. Because there's a difference, and I just want to make sure that we clarify what we're saying. Early on, you said that dead animals are required for
no,
the
I didn't say required. Never use that word.
Are needed for the soil to be fertile.
Didn't say need either. Okay. I said, and I can say it because I'm sitting right here. The earth is made of dead animals, decomposed animals. We bring forth plants and fruits out of the soil from those dead animals. Grand opening, grand closing.
No, but that's a very loose association. What I'm saying is because 90% of our food comes from farms. Nobody is putting dead animals in the soil that they farm for food. Like that's
you're dragging this to a you're trying. Don't be scared of me, Enqi. You're bringing this to something I'm not saying.
Am I being scared or are you being evasive? Because
because that's not the
argument. Made an early mistake. Listen, you might have made an early mistake.
I didn't make a mistake. I'll double down. The earth brings forth vegetables and the earth is composed of decomposed animals.
So what I'm saying is do you know anybody that you can reference that puts dead animals inside the soil that
Honey, they don't have to put it in the soil. The dead animal, the animals are in the what do you think that these animals eat? They eat vegetables, rabbits, mice, all that stuff. And what do you think happens when those machines roll through the farm? Do you think they could sift through? Oh, don't kill that mouse. It's gonna cut up all the stuff, including the mouse. And then the actual people are gonna probably have to manually sift through that, clean it to make sure there's no dead carcasses that you don't get a mouse leg or a mouse tail in your salad when you actually get it at the goddamn restaurant. Or at the grocery store. A lot of like cleaning and sifting have to go through because there are really animals, because those animals eat those plants
that they're going to grow or that they're currently growing food out of.
Okay, that question is not an intelligent question for me because let me tell you why. I just told you the soil itself is composed of dead animals itself. The soil itself is, the animal has decomposed, therefore it's no longer an animal. Okay, so that's why I don't understand this. You have nitrogen, you have all kinds of carbon, you have different things in the soil that once was. It's a breakdown of the flesh. The flesh is decomposed and it's become something else, but it's still essentially that same animal. Now, that is a fact. I didn't say somebody takes a dead body and plants and makes food out of it. But I am saying, and I'll double down again, timestamp.
You think, okay, so Bill Gates owns a lot of like all the like potato farms. You think that he really got people up there sifting through? If there's like, if an animal like is going through that sucker and maybe passes on, do you think there's like people out there that's like, oh wait, we gotta get this carcass out of here? They're gonna like, that machine gonna go right through. It's going to do all the work, and then some of that's gonna be animal like stuff. Or if an animal in this huge farm passes away in that field and it decomposes, ain't nobody really walking through that field checking if there's any animal decomposition going on in a huge farm. These farms could probably go for miles. Have you really? I mean, we ride through Ohio and some of these big old areas with like vegetation and farms. Ain't nobody walking through there making sure there ain't no dead animals up in there. that animal gonna die up in that farm, and it's gonna go ashes to ashes, dust to dust into the soil, and it's gonna help more plants grow. Period.
The soil is composed of not just decomposed animals, everything decomposed plants. So everything decomposes, and it becomes a soil that we plant our food from. So that's all.
I got you now. I'm just saying early on, you know, I think that you might have made the statement that
I didn't make a mistake. I was making a loose statement, getting warmed up, saying that plants come from the earth and that animals are in the earth. That's all.
Let him make a statement.
Yeah, but we're spending a lot of time on something that is obviously a fact that a first grader.
We got time today.
Well, I know that's why I want to get this out, because I don't want to. You're not gonna. I'm not wrong. The earth that you bring forth plants from is composed of decomposed.
Might have to source it, Nepal. If you keep doing that, just
I'm gonna source it, but I don't get a first grade book. I will. I'm gonna get a first grade science book. It's composed of decomposed animals, decomposed plants. So decomposed organisms. That's the soil that we bring. What my point was, and I think I said, people are very sensitive about the dying or the killing of animals. So in the context, I said, but everything dies, and the soil itself that the plants come from was once animals who were living that decomposed. That's my thing that I'm saying on the philosophical level, where they're like, oh, you shouldn't eat that because you're killing. You're taking food from the soil, the soil, which is composed of everything dead, and you're growing plants, and then plants also are dying when you eat them. So I didn't even get to that point, but I'll let you go ahead and speak. I'll grab some. I think I might find it like a kindergarten science book and get that information. Just give me a second.
A kindergarten science.
I want to say, y'all in the audience, y'all need to fall back, listen, and get the information, because when you're saying she's wrong, you might end up looking stupid in the end, because none of y'all didn't do the research. Nepal is not wrong. Trust me, she is right. She knows what she's talking about. And Enqi is not wrong. Enqi is good as well. So this is a good conversation, man, between both of them. It's not a debate, family. This is just for learning purposes that we're doing this.
Perfect. Thank you, SaaNeter. And yes, I did want to talk about humus later, but so it won't be so on a very basic level. I can share my screen. The first thing that came up when I Googled humus, and these people are eating all that soy and all that wheat, those wheat products, and overloading in sugars and carbs, the vegans who are angry already. Please sit back and just listen, okay? So this is just a basic website. I don't even know what it is. I just grabbed this. The soil. This says the CB or OERTX. Okay, so let's see what this says here. It talks about the humus. Okay. Right. You can speak. Do you want me to read this? I mean, I'm reading this for the first time like you all. Soil composition. Maybe this will show us something here. Soil composition. Soil consists of these major components. Inorganic mineral matter, about 40 to 45% of the soil's volume. Organic matter, about 5% of the soil volume. Water and air, about 50% of the soil volume. The amount of each of the four major components of soil depends on the amount of vegetation, soil compaction, and water present in the soil. A good, healthy soil has sufficient air, water, mineral, and organic material to promote and sustain plant life. So the plants that are coming from it, you don't disagree that the organic material is also animal products. Do you disagree with that?
What I'm saying, here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I think this is probably where the nexus of where we disagree or the center of the disagreement is. So there's a difference between saying that animals decay in soil and return back to the ground versus saying that people are growing food in places where currently rotting corpses are. Because
I didn't say anything like that. But let me finish reading this, Enqi, please.
Let me just finish my statement.
Go ahead, finish, because nobody said anything about rotting corpses.
So when a body breaks down and decays, it releases a lot of toxic chemicals that would be poisonous to anybody, any other animal, or any human that would consume that, or if the chemicals got into the water supply or even into the crops that's growing next to it, and then people ate those crops, that would be poisonous because of the rotting corpses.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
Good, thank you. Now let's get back to what we were talking about. Nobody's talking about rotting corpses. You're being disingenuous, and I'd like to finish reading this. I just asked you, do you agree? I stopped reading it because this is factual information about
really a yes or no.
Okay. And if you're not familiar with it, I ask you to go research it, as well as the people in the audience who think that you're correct. You're misleading. Nobody said anything about a rotting corpse. I said that animals, organic material, return to the earth and become soil. And from that soil, plant life is brought forth. And that's what vegans eat. Let me finish reading this right here. So as you saw, well, let me just, if you don't mind, I'd like to just read this and then we can talk about this. Because as you see, it says soil composition. We read that. We see the little pie. It's showing you the composition, the makeup in percentages. And then it says the four major components of soil are shown as inorganic minerals, organic matter, water, and air. Soil, Enqi, compaction can result when soil is compressed by heavy machinery or even foot traffic. How might this compaction change the soil composition? The organic material of soil, you guys got to listen to this part, called humus, is made up of microorganisms, dead and alive. Let me say that again. Dead and alive. And dead animals. I got to really say that again. Dead animals. I'll say it one more time. Dead animals and plants in varying stages of. I want to get this out. Thank you, Senator. Dead animals and plants in varying stages of decay, Enqi. Decay. Hold on. Let me read it again, because there's some people out there that need some meat in the audience. The organic material of soil, called humus, is made up of microorganisms, dead and alive, and dead animals and plants in varying stages of decay. Humus improves soil structure and provides plants with water and minerals. The inorganic material of soil consists of rock, slowly broken down into smaller particles that vary in size. So this can go on and on and on. But as I said, it's just a baby book. I mean, my daughter is in elementary school and she knows that much. Start planting with your children. Do a little gardening. Find out that the soil is composed of dead animals and plants. Now, that's not even what I wanted to go into, but you can respond to that.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, I never disagreed on the fact of whether the soil in general.
Hold on, wait, stop right now. Wait, hold on.
You gotta let me speak at some point.
Yeah.
Somebody is on my account in your chat.
No, that was me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
if you're on here.
I'm sorry, Enqi. I'm sorry.
You good?
I'm mute up.
Right. So no, what I'm saying is I never disagreed on whether this, animals decay in the soil. Like we bury people, we bury them in the ground. Like that's, but what I'm saying is there's a difference between actual, plots where people are growing food versus just, talking about soil in general. So places where we would be growing food at, you typically don't have, or you wouldn't want to put. So when you say, for instance, when you make the statement that vegans are eating plants that are growing out of dead animals, when you put all that together like that, okay.
Well, he's like,
I might be hearing it wrong. That's all. Maybe it's just me just hearing it wrong. But when you say like the vegans are eating plants that grow out of the dead animals, or that the dead animals are in the soil and the plants are growing out of with the dead like when you mix the two, I'm just saying that part is incorrect, because you don't have like rotting flesh where you
he
go.
said
like
nothing like that, but then she also did say that. Because it actually said that on the website.
I'm okay with Enqi, but I need to clear this up.
Clear it up.
I never once said rotting flesh, that plants are growing out of rotting flesh.
You said dead animals.
Science showed you that it's dead animals.
No. Science did not. What you just did was you read about soil in general. You didn't read agriculture, where it says that farmers are taking dead bodies and throwing it where they're growing.
I didn't say that, Enqi.
But when you say that that's what people are eating, that's what you imply, because there's most of the world is dirt that's just dirt. People don't eat from there. People eat from plots where they practice agriculture. And a part of that is you bury the animals that way and you grow the food this way. Like you don't mix the way you bury animals. That's why we have cemeteries, burial plots historically, because even back thousands of years ago, we learned you don't bury people and animals where you're growing your food.
Okay, so if you have a mango tree that just grows, right? You mean to tell me that ain't no animals at one point been there and passed away, and then like some seeds or whatever, and now you have a mango tree or a whatever kind of tree, banana tree. Like, what about the forest? Ain't nobody like managing none of that, and there's all kind of vegetation that grows in the forest that you can eat. That's why monkeys eat bananas off the tree, and it's that the other. You think that there's no dead animals in that whole forest that decompose, and then through like pollination, that area that dead animal like died at will then become like another tree or another like form of vegetation. He's arguing a mute point. You know what I'm saying? He's just arguing for the sake of arguing.
The food at, because although eventually those bodies will be broken down by bacteria and things like that into the soil, in the meantime, in the short term, the chemicals from the decomposing bodies are poisonous to people, is what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Enqi, I don't know if you're just doing this on purpose or if you really don't know.
Wait, what am I saying?
I'm going to possibly respond to what you said. No, let me get in here for a second. No, you don't. I got to come in right now. You just made a full story up of what science says that the humus, that's the best, that's the part of the earth that brings forth plant life. In a very rough explanation of it. You're saying, you're trying to tell people that I said that we plant our foods on rotting corpses. I didn't say that. Science shows us, my point is, and you can't get around it, that's why you're pushing it in another direction. If you're going to start talking about things like, why would we kill? I'm just debunking and dispelling all this nonsense that the vegans say, oh, I don't want to kill life. And so we're starting with that. Everything dies and everything recycles in the soil. Nobody's saying that we're planting our foods in cemeteries. Now, people in the chat who don't understand, just be quiet and go eat some soy. But for the ones who just want to get information and learn, I just showed you. The soil is composed of microorganisms. It's composed of inorganic and organic matter. And that is from dead animals and dead plants, partially. I'm not saying that we plant our food on corpses. Now, this isn't even I've already proven that that's the truth. But if you want to twist my words and say that I said we planted cemeteries, great. So we could go forward and get to another point that I'd like to bring up, and I'll hand this over to you. But I do want to talk about the expensive tissue hypothesis.
Before we go on, I just want to establish, though, for the record, at least for the people that's, there's going to be people that listen to your side of the argument. People are going to take what there's going to be people that pick this apart and they're going to take what they want. Cool. But I'm just saying, for clarity, for those people that are listening to me, the dead animal is no longer there. It's no longer like a dead animal. So to imply that because you're eating plants, you're somehow consuming dead animals.
Never said you're consuming dead animals.
Way. Oh, I'm just saying.
But you're putting more lies. I didn't say you're consuming dead animals.
Is it possible that I could finish my statement?
But when you speak, you twist my words and you tried so hard. We haven't even scratched the surface. I said,
I'm not twisting the words. I'm just trying to say mine. I'm just speaking.
But in the context of you saying that we don't want to kill, we don't want to eat anything that comes from killing. That's
I have never said this entire show anything about I don't want to eat anything because of killing or any of that.
Not you.
Anybody's putting words. Who?
Not you, Enqi. Vegans say that.
I just want you to.
But we having a conversation with me and you, not necessarily hypothetical people. So what I'm saying is, I might have misconstrued what you said. So I'm not even necessarily speaking on you, unless that's what
it ain't Mike. You did.
In the sense of growing plants for food out of the soil. Yes, it is true that dead animals decompose into the soil. That is a separate fact in and of itself over here. Once the animal has completely decomposed, the animal is no longer present. You're just dealing with the elements that the animal consumed along his life. But the process of decomposing animals produces a wide array of seriously, heavily poisonous stuff. So you cannot have that in the same place where you grow food and stuff like that. That's all. I'm just trying to make the distinction between those two things for the people.
Yeah, but any moron out there who thinks that I just read something about a rotting corpse, they should just, off themselves at this point.
You know that a dead body in the ground is rotting. You do know that.
No. You talked and I want to respond to your misinformation.
No, right. But what I'm saying is you know that any animal's body, when you put it into the ground, it is rotting, right?
Okay, I could go back and read that piece of information that says that organic material from animals and plants is in the soil and it's decaying material that is essential, not just optional and maybe, it's essential to healthy soil that for the soil to produce a plant. I'd like to move on. I've made a great point on that. You're just going to keep going in circles and twisting my words. I didn't say plant bodies on dead corpses or corpses are dead on corpses. Excuse me. I don't want to be redundant. Can you talk to me about the expensive tissue hypothesis? Because I love to bring that up to vegan.
Well, give your opinion on it.
Man, this shit is hilarious.
Well, it's not my opinion. It's actually a study. Aiello and other scientists, they discovered that the early human, before the early human consumed meat, before the early human consumed animal products, actually. And to be fair, some other plant life, but primarily animal products. Before that, the brain was much smaller, 60% smaller, and the gut was larger. There was a trade-off. Once meat was consumed, the brains grew 60%. Okay, the brains became much more complex.
The more
and the gut shrunk, in essence. It decreased in size. Even today, well, let me talk about the cycle. The gut, at first, before we ate meat as organisms, according to the expensive tissue hypothesis, we were able to process cellulose and other plant life and really get the best nutrients from the plant life when we processed it in our gut. Once we consumed the meat, our guts decreased in size and we were not capable of processing. Now, this is over a period of time, not overnight, a long period of time. The study is extensive. You read it, you can see they go into more detail. So the stomach, the digestive system of humans wasn't even capable of optimizing nutrients from plant life, because of our gut evolution or the change in our gut, the trade-off, bigger brain, smaller gut. As time progressed, as we ate the meat, we then were more intelligent, and so then we started to cultivate plants, grow plants. We knew what plants were not poisonous, that we were more efficient with plant life as a supplemental part of our diet. This is science. So our gut changed again, and then we became capable of processing cellulose and just that type of the texture of that material that plants often are.
Okay.
So that's the in a nutshell, just giving you just that much. We are not fully, even now, there's animals like cows with they have 4 stomach chambers because that they eat primarily vegetation plants. Gorillas, they have a special type of stomach, or I should say a colon, that processes large amounts of for a diet that's primarily vegan. Humans don't, our bodies aren't made to do such things. We can have supplemental plants, especially fruits, but our bodies are designed from the head to the gut to eat meat because of the way we've evolved.
Okay.
All right, but now let's get into a real argument here, because he's been arguing some bullshit up to this point.
You love it?
No, me and young Pharaoh was going back and forth. Pharaoh funny as shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I told him, I said, yo, man, I'm taking you on as my son. You my little son, for real. And he was like, yo, fuck that. My father's name is Tyrone. He a real one. So me and him, we was going back and forth. That dude is funny as hell. Let's go, Enqi.
All right, I'm back. So the last thing I heard you say was that we are designed from head to toe to eat meat. And then before you said that, you said we can have some plants as supplements to our meat.
Plants are supplemental in essence. They're very vital, but they're supplemental. According to, and I'm referring to not just the evidence in modern science, but the evidence in the expensive tissue hypothesis.
Okay, so let's start with, I mean, you said you said a lot of things. Let's just start with this first thing. What specific nutrient inside of meat makes your brain grow?
Are you not going to address the expensive tissue hypothesis?
I'm asking you.
Do you want me to pull it up? No, and I can answer that with this information.
I know, but can you answer the question, or you
Sure.
can't answer the question?
You want me to get the facts, or you want me to just freestyle?
I just want you to. I mean, you read the article, correct?
No, I didn't read it. I've studied it, so I just was off the top. But
wait,
I can get this.
Hold on. When you say you didn't read it,
no, I've read the study, but I didn't read it right now. It's just going off the top.
Oh, okay. So when you read the study, did the study mention which nutrient inside meat allow brains to grow?
Which nutrient inside meat? Well, we know when babies develop, I talked about omega-3s, right? I also talked about that. And also there's proteins, but we know that. I can read it. I can read that part to you. Kevin says I'm freestyling. I must be a really great freestyler because I'm on point. And I can read the article because as you see, you have your fans in the audience. I want to get the facts word for word. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them acting like I'm making it up. So if you could address that though, I am asking you to address this.
I'm just asking you a specific question because
I answered it.
No, you didn't.
There's fatty acids, there's proteins.
Okay, hold on. But again, fatty acids, DHA specifically. Hold on. DHA specifically. That's what if DHA, omega-3 DHA, right? To be specific. If that's your answer, that answer is incorrect because I already told you earlier that omega-3s do not come from fish.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
The fish are consuming the algae. The algae is where the DHA is coming from. The fish are consuming the algae. So listen. So
it's not present in the fish?
It's present in the fish.
Thank you.
Because the fish has ate the algae.
So the fish it's present in the fish, right?
Napah.
No, I want you to answer. Since you want me to answer, I want you to answer. Is it in the meat? But you're not trying to answer my question. Okay, so I asked you a question about the expensive tissue hypothesis. You don't know about it. So you want to skirt around it and ask me questions. Just say you don't know about the study. That's all you can do. Your fans will understand. Y'all will forgive him for not knowing about this, right? So
if you're just trying to have a conversation.
Man, listen. If y'all have never been to the Rise channel, please check her out. It's called go type in Napah on Google and go to her channel because she debates these people. She used to do it on SaaNeter, but she's been doing it lately on her channel. And like I love to see a woman like kind of like giving it to these dudes, like, okay, well, you ain't gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Look, if you're just trying to teach, I could just sit here, listen, and let you go in. But if you're having a discussion, every time I'm disagreeing with you, you can't try to cover it up with bravado and snide comments about even a first grader. No, it's like you're being very condescending, and I'm just allowing you to get away with all of that and do your thing. But at the same token, you still got to allow me to finish whole sentences, even if I disagree with you.
Okay, fair enough. But do me a favor. Don't ask me a question when I ask you a question. that fair?
That's fair.
Thank
But
you.
what-
Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, and what I'm doing is directly addressing the expensive tissue hypothesis. I'm addressing not only the hypothesis in general, but I'm addressing the specific points that you and I may have contention about within that hypothesis, because that's what the discussion is, the tension between the plant-based idea and the meat, the meat-based idea, if you will. So when you say that eating meat allowed our brains to grow, right? That statement implies that brain growth, the same brain growth or more, could not have happened if we did not eat the meat. And so we're designed to eat meat. And if the nutrients that we're getting by eating the meat actually comes from a plant source, then that means we didn't need the meat. We could have just ate the plants. So this is why I'm asking you specifically, what nutrients is in meat that made brains grow? Because if we're talking about omega-3 or DHA, like I said, we know that that's a plant-based source, and that's not coming from the fish. The fish are just eating the plants the same way we can. So is there another nutrient that they're saying that there was something else that was in the meat that allowed our brains to grow besides omega-3s?
Great. So what you're doing is not comprehending, and I'm not being condescending. It's not that you won't be able to find these certain nutrients in plants. That's not the issue. It's a more efficient way of obtaining those nutrients, and the brain, the body responded to that. That way, see, I'm not saying don't eat vegetables. Vegans say don't eat meat. That's the issue. Vegans say don't eat meat. It's bad. But science shows us that our bodies respond well to meat. Our bodies respond so well that our brains grew bigger and stronger and more complex in a short amount of time compared to when we ate only plants. Because yes, we had to eat more plants to obtain certain nutrients than eating a certain amount of meat, flesh, animal products. I'm not just talking, and I'm not just going to use meat. I'm going to stick with, because there are people out here who don't really, the science might be over their heads, not your head, but their heads, because I know you're very scientific. That's not a jab. So I want to say it this way in very simplistic terms. You can look at a baby, an infant. The first thing an infant consumes is an animal product. That's it. Not a plant.
Wow.
Not a piece of fruit. No.
Man,
this is factual, and this is relevant.
Wow.
The first thing a child consumes is, in essence, is animal product, not soy milk. It has to come from an animal. So when vegans say, oh, animal products are bad for you, they're bad for you, I'm dispelling that lie by proving just even in nature, babies, brains develop. You have to make sure that babies have these, we keep talking about fatty acids. It's very crucial for brain development. That's seen in just basic knowing how to feed your child nutrition. Not to take this too far off track, but when we talk about problems with vaccines, it's not because the vaccine is attacking the brain, the neurological system directly. That's secondary. What's really happening is the gut is being disabled or dismantled. The gut, why am I saying that? Because we can't uptake those nutrients to feed the brain. So
nutrients in the vaccine?
No. I'm talking about when a child eats, the vaccine has disabled the gut, and therefore the gut cannot absorb nutrients well. Stay with me. Okay. That's what I'm just so I don't want to. I digress. Let me get back on track. My point is, animal products are paramount, not vegetables, not vegans, not vegetation. The first thing that an animal takes in is human. Well, a baby, essentially, ideally, is human animal product, milk.
Okay.
With these fatty acids, I'm gonna hand it back over to you because that goes back to the expensive tissue.
All animals start off.
I'm not disputing that animals find food and they eat it. And you said it's secondary or tertiary. I get what you're saying. However, I'm saying that meat is essential and it's beneficial. It's not damaging. It's not negative. It's not nasty. It's not killing. It gives life. It makes brains grow, and it makes people. It helps people thrive. And that's present and obvious in science, in the study of the expensive tissue hypothesis. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my go. All right. So
y'all want to move on so we can talk about something else? Like some of the things that affect us. Let's deal with some solutions. Some of the things that affect us in the body. The food.
Hold on, because I want to get the first thing is I want her to finish answering the first question, which is which of those nutrients from the meat make the brain grow? And then second, I just want to say that using the term animal products, referring to breast milk, it's definitely an animal product. So it's not, I can't say that it's incorrect, but at best, it's disingenuous to use that term to try to make it seem like bacon or pork or, you know, like beef, or like a baby needs to have an animal product. And so it's breast milk. And when you reference breast milk, that actually puts a lot of different things on the table that go against your argument, because a baby has to have a milk specific to that baby. A baby has to have a milk specific to that baby because the baby requires specific nutrients for that baby to grow. So in nature, if we're talking about nature, you don't necessarily see cow babies drinking wolf's milk or et cetera, et cetera. You see a very animal specific thing. And the reason being is because of what breast milk is composed of.
The cow is an animal and a wolf is an
when
animal.
you say animal
They
product,
feed their kids milk.
specifically in the breast milk, like to your knowledge, what is breast milk composed of?
I keep reminding you that fatty acids, number one, DHA, proteins, breast milk, there's certain types of cannabinoids. There is, but if you want to know about that, so that's the answer for that. I answered that thoroughly.
Okay,
but with the expensive tissue hypothesis.
Okay, hold on. So just with the breast milk, the DHA, the cannabinoids, and amino acids can all come from plant sources.
I never said.
I'm just saying, like, what I'm trying to figure out is, because when you make the preference, right, that meat is better for our bodies than plants. When you make that point, that statement,
I didn't say meat is better.
you did. You said that our body is designed to eat meat.
It's designed to eat meat.
What is
So
better?
that means that meat is a better food source.
No, that doesn't mean that. That
Okay.
means that we should eat meat. I don't say it's better. We should eat it.
Our body is designed for our optimal food source. So if you're saying that meat is the optimal food source, then you're saying that that's the best for our body. And you're saying that plants would be secondary to that. As you said earlier, plants can be supplemental to the meat. Right. So
That's a logical
what I'm
fallacy.
saying is the exact opposite, right? So I'm saying that plants are essential and that meats could be sparse, sporadic, or supplemental if you wish, depending on where you're from. Because where you're from has a lot to do with how your body processes things, how your body metabolizes things, how your mitochondria function, where your fat's going to be stored, your beta oxidation cycle. All of these little differences are going to play a role in it. This is the reason why. Well, I digress. But so let's go back to the expensive tissue hypothesis.
Are you familiar with that?
For the 1,000th time, can we get you to elaborate on
Yes
what
or no?
nutrients from the article that you're
You
aware
will
of
not answer
are
like
in
a
the
question,
meat
yes
that
or
allow
no.
your brain to grow?
Okay, and I will do that. I just ask you a simple question. Are you at all?
Yes,
You're familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it.
So you're just asking me the question for the audience then? Because
Yes.
the fatty acids, proteins, vitamin B's, B12, I believe B6, it's in the study.
Can you
Lutein.
pull up the study for us? Can you source it up?
I can pull the whole paper up.
I know, but when you pull up the paper, can you go right to that part with the brain nutrients?
It's elaborate. It's not just one small section.
Okay,
It's the entire
source it up.
paper.
Let's see. All right, well, let's see the
It's the
paper.
entire paper. But you asked me and I answered you. I answered you clearly. There's facts showing that the nutrients in meat, which we know, proteins, amino acids, fatty acids, there's also not just now I mentioned this in the study, there were also some plant life, like better plant life. It's mentioned in the study that better plant life was consumed. So basically it was a better diet, but the diet that was better, that improved the brain was primarily meat, better meat. It was meat. And that's the study. I can pull the paper up for you. I don't really know how familiar you are with it.
Let me say this real quick. And I'm talking to the audience out there, not Enqi. See, a lot of y'all think Napah went to Hebrew school. That's not the case, man. Y'all don't know what she took up in school, man. Y'all don't know that this woman was on her way to becoming a doctor, a real doctor. Y'all don't understand that. And right now, she is still in school right now. So y'all slipping, y'all sleeping. And that's why all of y'all who have a problem on what she's saying, when I open up this chat, when I open up the door, come on in, bring your ass in, turn on the camera, and don't get scared because y'all got a lot to say now. Come on in, cut your camera on and ask a question. So y'all slipping. Enqi know better. Enqi know better. But y'all slipping. Go ahead, Queen, finish off and then let's pass the mic to Enqi.
Thank you, SaaNeter. I have the paper here and it's in JSTOR, but I'm going to just pull up an article on this for, of course, Enqi, he's familiar with this, but a lot of people in the audience are not familiar with it. So if you would just indulge me, let me just bring up this article on it. Again, if I bring the paper up, there's a lot of scientific jargon. It's right here though, right here in JSTOR, but here is an article on it in the Harvard Gazette. So it says, eating meat led to smaller stomachs, bigger brains. Scholar revisits her theory explaining evolution of early primates into humans. Behind glass cases, Harvard's Peabody Museum of Archaeology displays ancient tools, weapons, clothing, and art. Enough to jar. Okay, so I don't know. I'm reading this for the first time like everyone else. I do want to say this, by the way. My position isn't that vegetables and plants are not essential in our diet. My position is that it is healthy to eat meat and that meat is beneficial. I am dispelling the lie that vegans tell that meat is bad and meat is bad for you and that meat is death. Meat is good for you. And not only is it good for you, your body is designed to eat it. So I just want to reiterate that. But the vulnerable, okay, so this is Aiello. She is a paleoanthropologist, Leslie Aiello. So she's a professor for 3 decades, at University College in London, University College London, president of Manhattan-based winner. Basically, these are her credentials. Okay, let's see here. But 2 seminal ideas stand out, said Lieberman. One is that that in evolutionary terms, big human brains with enormous energy requirements are inversely proportional to gut size. This idea, called the expensive tissue hypothesis, in Aiello's co-authored 1992 paper, argues that around 1.5 million years ago, early humans began to eat more meat, a compact, high-energy source of calories that does not require a large intestinal system. That's another thing, Enqi. I mean, we could go on and on. I don't want this. So basically, this paper is talking about her and what she studied, and I mean, not the paper, that article. And then if you guys do want to see the JSTOR on the study, this is the paper. Okay, the expensive tissue hypothesis: the brain and the digestive system in human and primate evolution, by Leslie Aiello and Peter Wheeler. Those are the 2 who do the study. And also, I didn't mention the caloric intake as well. It was, I guess, from that part. Again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't eat plants. And the word better is not the best word to use. Our bodies, because of evolution, are designed to eat meat. Our bodies digest meat easily. It's not hard for our bodies to digest meat, as vegans have. They've misled people to believe that meat is hard to digest and plants are easier to digest. When in fact, cellulose is harder to digest than a piece of fish. So yes, I am serious. Go ahead. I mean, Enqi, so I answered your questions. I'm pretty sure, right?
No.
DHA. Go ahead.
No. Well, you responded to my question, but not necessarily answered it. So here's the thing, because I noticed you saying it, and now you've given it like an analogy to it, saying that the fish are more easily digested than cellulose, right? So the way our bodies are designed, our bodies were never designed around digesting these indigestible plant matter, if you will. So, and it's not just something I'm hearing from you. I've heard from a few other people. And let me just say this. This is where we got to understand the role, and not like a supplemental thing, but the crucial role that fiber plays in our diets. Fiber is.
Hey, Jackie, how you doing? So I'm reviewing this debate between Enqi and Napah on the Rise channel. And if you get a chance, please check them out, because I love the fact that they actually do these kind of debates and have these kind of discussions. That way you can make up your own mind. But they come with like the information. I think it's really cool that they're out here doing this. So the debate is that is meat to meat or not to meat. So let's go.
Is not something that we digest.
You see me on the screen, right, Enqi?
Yes, I'm about to get right to that. But so fiber is not supposed to be digested. Fiber does 2 things largely. A, cleans out the digestive system, and then also it serves as a food source for the microbiome. So so fiber is not necessarily for us to digest. Its digestibility does not mean it's not good for us. It's literally good for us because we can't digest it. Like that's the role fiber plays. But I just wanted to show this article real quick, because there's a lot of articles that have come out since that expensive tissue article and have debunked various aspects of it. This is one of them. This article right here is on, well, you see the title, "No Need to Shrink Guts to Have a Larger Brain." The so-called expensive tissue hypothesis, which suggests a trade-off between the size of the brain and the size of the digestive tract, has been challenged. Yes. Researchers have now shown that brains in mammals have grown over the course of evolution without the digestive organs having to become smaller. The researchers have demonstrated that the potential to store fat often goes hand in hand with relatively small brains, except in humans who owe their increased energy intake and correspondingly large brain to communal childcare, better diet, and their ability to walk upright.
Right.
So I'm just saying, like, that's just one example. That's just one example, which is the reason why I was asking for specifics in terms of what nutrients you would
May I respond to that because I've done extensive research.
Let him finish, Nepal.
No, well, he was asking me a question.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you weren't finished. My bad.
No, yeah. So I was just saying that so that paper is kind of extinct. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the specifics of me asking about the brain growing is because not only is that paper extinct, but we now know, like, it's popular science on actually what nutrients make the brain grow, and they came from the ocean and not from meats at all.
Okay.
What?
So
Now,
also another question I wanted to ask is, can you give us a time period on these different groups of people and where were these studies conducted at? And
Okay,
the reason why I'm asking,
hold on.
let me just say the reason why I'm asking that is because I have the studies that was done on the tissues from ancient Egypt, and they were eating a largely vegan diet there. And so the reason why I use them as an example is because that's civilization amongst any other group of people demonstrated their brain power. It's not about putting the tape measure and seeing how large your brain is. It's about what you can do with what you got in your skull. So since that society gave us pyramids, and we've also been able to review the tissues, like Diop said, we just go back to the tissues and test the bodies, and we see that they were on a primarily vegan diet.
Primarily, not
what group
completely.
of people this study is coming from, because there is a difference between haplotypes and environmental development. So if you come from
So when you say primarily, that means that they also had meat. A primarily means that they also had meat. They were not 100% vegan. So he's saying stuff, but he's putting things in there, but not even like really addressing the fact that he's like kind of like still saying that they ate meat.
a polar environment, right, which is icy and cold, there's not a lot of plants that are growing there. So you have to eat meat to survive in that type of environment, as opposed to being in a lush green environment where the plants are most readily available, right? And so then you have the desert type of environment where you have to scavenge for whatever you can find. So environment has a
Here's one thing I have about when people like have these type of debates. So he asked her a question. He's making a bunch of statements. So she has to follow all this bullshit he said. He didn't ask her about three different. He done made 3 different statements, about 4 or 5 different statements in one question. She needs to be having like a piece of paper to write this down because it's too many questions and too many things at one point. So
lot to do with what people are going to eat and survive, and that has a lot to do with how our bodies develop. So environment dictates resources, and then that in turn plays a role in how our bodies develop. And there's scientific papers as well to support, what I'm saying right there. So, I just want you to kind of, address necessarily still the key nutrients besides omega-3s that allow brains to grow, because proteins is not a real thing. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of protein. You'll have to say which one specifically you're talking about. And then also maybe give us some more.
She's been asked about 3 different questions. He wants her to address about 3 different things, but he makes other statements that she have to address. It almost makes it so that she can't address all the statements. I want y'all to notice
insight and as to which groups of people this is.
Okay, thank you. Now, could you share with that information that you said yes, the study's being challenged, but it has not been debunked and it's not ancient. Or I think you said it's ancient or something. No, it's not extinct at all. Could you share that paper? Because I want to explain to people the last part. If this paper that you had, I'm going back to the top.
Comment first, Nepal, before I move it.
Oh yeah. Red meat is the number 1 cause of heart disease. Heart disease is the number 1 cause of death. Actually, no, that is not true. Stress is the number 1 cause of heart disease. Grand opening, grand closing. So thank you for that donation, though. Red meat, cigarettes, red meat, alcohol. Those are definitely, if you are predisposed genetically to being, susceptible to heart disease. We're dealing with Black people, especially. This is a whole different conversation. You can shake your head if you want, Enqi, but you're going to agree with me. Wait. Let me, brother. I didn't say red meat. I said heart disease. I said heart disease. Right, no, don't jump in. You said a lot. I'm getting ready to clean this up, and then I'm going to clean up what you said when you went all the way from expensive tissue.
I want to address this comment too.
Brother, it's my turn to talk. Remember?
Come on, you gotta let it go, brother.
So you can address it. Just put a pin in it. Number 1, there's something called ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. These are experiences that everyone has in life, but especially Black and Latino, Black first, Black Americans have higher ratings of ACEs. ACEs can be linked to all kinds of heart disease, anything you think of, that's cancers, what else? Autoimmune diseases. You can shake your head. You don't know anything about ACEs then.
Yes, I do. But here's the thing.
Wait a minute. You're not going to, Enqi, don't talk. Just give me a minute. If you're shaking your head,
why I'm shaking my head.
You don't know about cortisol. You don't know the link between cortisol and these diseases. Cortisol levels. You don't understand the disease. Because I forgot that you follow Dr. Sebi. And no disrespect to the elder, but it's not about mucus production. It's about inflammation. That's the key. Not the mucus. You don't have to get rid of the mucus. The mucus is secondary. The inflammation is primary. That's the problem. And the inflammation comes first and foremost from stress. And then when you eat things that like red meat or you drink alcohol, you cigarettes, then that exacerbates it. And then you create diseases in your body. Now, like I said, remember I said inflammation. And inflammation comes from stress. ACEs are linked to stress. High cortisol levels are linked to stress. It all goes back to childhood, believe it or not. It goes back to the mind. But you can address this comment later. I'm not saying that heart disease is not high. I'm not saying that heart diseases and not that cardiovascular diseases are not leading causes of death. I went deeper. You know, like how Enqi says that you can grow your pancreas back. I went deeper and showed you it's not about the heart disease.
No. You can't grow your pancreas back though.
No, there's cells that can reproduce. You can't. What I'm saying is I'm doing deeper science when I address this comment. It's not just, red meat is the reason. Then you can't explain why some people eat steak all their lives and they're absolutely fine and they live to be 99. It's because stress first is the first killer. It's the first cause of heart disease. It's the number one cause. Now I got that out of the way. I want to go back to what Enqi was saying. If he doesn't want to pull up that article that he brought up saying that's challenged, of course it's challenged. It's challenged by people who don't want to face the facts that meat is okay and the meat has been helpful throughout history, human history. Eating meat is not killing us. It's actually helping us live. When you saw the thing about co-parenting, groups raising children together, that happened after we ate meat, after we became more complex in our brain function. After we started eating meat, we started having organized groups. It's already seen in lemurs. You can see it in lemurs. Those are animals that have organized family groups, different primates, bonobos. They eat meat, chimps. Even gorillas eat meat. They eat mice and rodents, small animals occasionally. Now, I'm going to get back to what you were asking me once again. There's iron, fatty acids, amino acids. These are nutrients that we know help the brain grow. These are nutrients that help the brain grow. Vitamin D. The brain is growing when we get the right diet. That's what the study truthfully is about, having the best diet. The expensive tissue hypothesis was challenged by so many people who hate meat for some reason. These vegans they're enraged that there's information showing that meat helped their brains develop, and that meat is actually a good source of food in our diet. So many people don't want to face that for some reason. I don't know why. Can riddle me this? I'm just going to jump off the scholastic train and get on the petty train. If meat is so bad, why every time you go to buy something vegan, it tastes like bacon? Just like beef. Ooh, chicken flavor. If it's so bad, why do we want it to taste like meat all the time? And I'm not talking about people who say, well, I'm a strict vegan. I only do legumes and I only do leafy greens. Most vegans, you go to their restaurant, you've got sandwiches made out of, what's that stuff called? Taipei, that wheat, all kinds of gluten allergies. You've got issues with too much sugar, high carbs, autoimmune diseases coming forth like Hashimoto's. That's linked to veganism. So I don't want to hear about tell me. No, you tell me why every time I turn around with my clients, when they're vegans, I'm talking about pregnant women, they develop preeclampsia because they're trying so hard not to eat meat. They have low birth weight in their babies. You tell me they can't produce enough breast milk because they don't have a good source of protein in their diet. We're not elephants. We're not gorillas. We're not going to eat pounds and pounds and pounds of spinach, pounds of kale, which, by the way, it's not even the kale today isn't the kale from 4,000 years. Kale wasn't even around 4,000 years ago. It was cabbage, wild cabbage. So all these vegetables that we're talking about, let me find out. We were eating meat and meat is fine. And the expensive tissue hypothesis proves it. About Kemet, that's false information. There was fish consumption, pork consumption. They were eating pork and fish and ducks. They were eating animals.
Let's hear from the minister.
I know they don't. The chat is mad because they tuned in because they're vegans. But I just gave him facts. He asked me to answer a question about Kemet. They were eating ducks. They were eating fowl. Basically, they were eating poultry, and they were eating pigs and fish in Kemet. There was not. They weren't vegan.
Exactly, because he said that primarily vegan.
Can we hit the share screen real quick, son? Okay, so this right here, right? This right here is the article. Dietary factors that affect the risk of preeclampsia. And if we stroll on down in this article here to the highlighted section, high fat, sugar, and salt-rich diets. The MOBA found that a diet characterized by higher intakes of processed meat, salty snacks, and sweet drinks was associated with increased risk of preeclampsia. We'll move right on from there to this article right here that talks about heme iron from meats and the risk of colorectal cancer. Red meat and processed meat intake is associated with a risk of colorectal cancer, a major cause of death in affluent countries, yada, 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 yada. So there's that. And then, yeah, so there's that. And then in terms of people not getting the full nutrition, I don't think that that is a plant-specific thing. Like, so that right there, what I just showed you were 2 studies that were meat-specific. There are people that are having plant-based lifestyles that are not eating the full spectrum of plants that they need to eat to get their daily nutrients in. But that doesn't have anything to do with saying that plants per se is causing the issue. The issue would be that the person is probably not aware that they can't eat 1 or 2 plant items and get all of the nutrients that they would need to get in without eating a wide variety of plants throughout the day or backing that up with supplementation.
You tell me when I can go.
Go ahead, you got it.
If you're in a third world country, you might not have access to all the plants. What are you talking about? Supplementation. That means taking multivitamins.
But do you have those nutrients that's in the meat that makes the brain grow?
I told you. I said fatty acids.
He keeps asking.
No, but I told you 1,000 times. You keep repeating fatty acids. Omega-3 is not from animals. It comes from plants. The animals.
It's still in the meat, though.
No, it is not. It's not intrinsic to meat.
Nobody said anything about intrinsic.
But you are, because you're crediting meat with the action.
Yes.
And you can't credit the meat with something
wrong.
You cannot credit the meat with something that the meat doesn't have.
Let me just say this real quick. And I'm not sure if he's going to touch on this, but the bottom line is that when an animal eats a certain thing, right, it's now under a process, right? That means it goes into the stomach, it then gets processed by the gut, by the belly, by the intestines, into the body, right? It gets separated out. Now, so if your body is, if your gut is smaller, then you're not going to break down that same thing. A cow has 4 stomachs to really break down what? Vegetation. So by the time that whole thing is broken down, then it finally has gone into the body to create like those and process through the stomach, through all 4 stomachs, to then go into the body of the cow or of the animal. So therefore, so he's saying that, oh, you keep saying these things. Well, it's not necessarily that if you eat a vegetable, that it's going to be processed through your stomach and actually be able to be digested the same way as if an animal does it that has 4 and 5 stomachs. Why do you think a cow that only eats vegetables has 4 stomachs? To break it down. So, yeah, I don't know why, man.
Because you yourself, like SaaNeter, are all animals. So the same way an animal can go and get some plants that are rich in omega-3s and consume them, I can do that. You can do that. SaaNeter can do that. In fact, from the hood, we learned to cut out the middleman. When you cut out the middleman, you have more for yourself. So instead of the animal consuming the DHA and then us consuming the animal, getting what's left over, we could just
it's not left over.
Get it ourselves.
It's processed.
Right.
So besides DHA, I'm saying, is there a
That's almost like if you get like a vitamin, then you probably get like a higher dose of a vitamin C than if you eat like a certain like vegetable. Why? Because the vitamin has a higher concentration of it because it's processed. If you have an animal that processes it through its body, then you have a higher concentration of that particular mineral. So let's go.
The nutrient that's intrinsic to meat, that's only in meat, that's not in plants, that makes brains grow.
Okay, see, that's your question. The study that you're really not arguing with me, you're arguing with the study. The study
I'm
showed,
arguing with you because you presented the study to validate your points. So
and the point,
study is your backing for your point. So I'm saying,
and my point is that meat is not bad for, you asked me a question and you said I could go. The study shows you as a vegan teach that meat is bad for us. You as a vegan say that meat kills, like you pulled up that study that I'm about to just address, the preeclampsia. You pulled up a study saying meat is so bad. Look, oh, processed meat. Nobody's talking about beef jerky and bologna sandwiches. Okay, that's like saying grape drink is grapefruit juice or grapefruit juice. I'm not talking about processed meat, but ironically, hear me out, everyone. More vegan food is processed food. So that study is absolutely correct. And I'm going to show you right now, my clients and every woman who is pregnant and has unfortunately tried to follow a vegan diet with all these processed soy products, these meat-like, taste just like chicken products. Let me share my screen right now. Hold on. So I'm saying this, and the study is saying meat is healthy to eat. And the study shows it, that you can eat the meat and it will help your brain grow. I've already pointed out infants with animal products. I know you don't like to hear that, but milk is an animal
breast milk. And why are you saying animal product instead of breast milk? Like,
is milk an animal product?
It's misleading.
Wait, hold on.
Not.
You are the misleading king. So don't go there.
The misleading.
Okay? You're the misleading.
In which way?
I have a lot of love.
If a dog drinks from its own, a dog is an animal. If the first thing when it come out the stomach, it goes to the mama's breast. So he's saying it's misleading because they're thinking about humans. But any animal, the first thing it does is drink milk from the mom. So it is an animal product. What are you talking about? So okay, we're not animals. All right, I guess. But the first thing a cow doesn't do is start grazing when it comes out the stomach of the mother. It goes straight to the breast and drinks milk. Now that milk is then thereby processed, and then it gives the nutrients through the breast that child animal needs. It goes through a process. Newborn cows can't even chew. It don't have teeth. Newborn babies don't have teeth to chew anything. So if that's the case, then when we would have our babies, then it would come out and we would give it some lettuce and it would already have teeth and everything, start to eat the lettuce. There's a reason why. So he's saying it's being dishonest or whatever, but he's being dishonest.
For you, but you're the misleading king. Animal product, milk, eggs, cheese. Come on, we know they're animal products. So anyway, so let me share this right here.
So all of those are in the same category because they're animal products. So
you just said milk isn't an animal product.
There's a big difference between a human baby having human milk from its mother versus having milk from a cow, or having cheese, or having any of these other, or having beef, or having pork, or having any of these other things.
They're arguing veganism over meat eating, saying he's a vegan. She's saying that meat is cool. You could eat meat too, and not that being a vegan is not really the most healthiest thing to do. And he's up here giving up these stupid ass reasons, and really he's wrong as hell. Because I'm like, dude, bro, she's saying that the first thing that a child does is drink a milk, a meat, a product from an animal. Vegans don't think you should do anything animal. Don't eat no product from no animal. She's saying, well, most of the products that you eat that are vegan are actually not healthy for you. But he wants to argue that she's being disingenuous by bringing up that breast milk is an animal product. And I'm like, dude, most animals, the first thing that they do is go to the mama's breast. That's pretty much what's going on right now. Just a recap. So
there's a huge difference. And when you say animal product, you kind of being disingenuous, lumping them all together.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, what's the difference? And are you aware of what the different colors in your breast milk means?
Enqi, hold on.
I'm asking you a question.
No, I can get all of that for you. Of course I am. I'm a lactation consultant. But before I answer all these questions, you have so many questions for me, but I was actually talking and you.
Yeah, that's another thing he's doing in this debate. He's asking about 100 questions, and then when she goes into one, he want to argue that one thing, and don't let her argue all the questions, and then he say that she's not go back to the. It's interesting anyway.
Jumped in, but you say SaaNeter says give him his chance. I'd like to speak. Okay, so I want to leave this on because I know I got to tattoo it to the brain of a lot of people who thought you just slam dunked something, pulling up an article which is misleading, saying that processed meat The article's correct. Processed meat, emphasis on processed meat, which is high in sugar, salt. Yeah. Guess what else is high in sugar and salt? I'll give you a minute. Vegan food. Because these people aren't planting gardens. They're not. They're going to the frozen food section and they're getting all their Morning Star, all their vegan chicken nuggets, the Impossible meats. Let's be real. And then they throw a side salad and some rice, which is high in carbs, high in sugar, the rice. So you've got this processed food that you eat every day, getting high blood pressure, high sugar levels. I'm sorry, what does this article say on Healthline? Eating vegan diet in pregnancy is linked to what I said it's linked to, Enqi. This is my lane. Preeclampsia and low birth weight. Let me read the article a little bit so I can rub it in. A new study shows women who follow vegan diets during pregnancy may have a greater risk of developing preeclampsia and giving birth to babies with low birth weight. Getting enough nutrients for a pregnant person and baby can be challenging when food choices are limited due to dietary restrictions. Important nutrition considerations on plant-based diets include fruits and vegetables, complex carbohydrates, plant-based proteins, healthy fats, and hydration. Yay, they're not doing that. So,
but I said early on in the conversation that
you won't let me finish.
Okay, good. I thought you stopped.
No. Listen, you tried to come in and say I was misleading about the preeclampsia and the low birth weight. No, I'm not. It's a fact. These women are not. They're not planting gardens. Look, I love vegetables. My favorite food is cabbage, but I like steak, and steak is good for me. It's really good. And what's better than steak? Beef steak, salmon skin. It doesn't matter what you keep saying, but that animal eats the animal has the DHA. The mother's milk has the DHA. It has the fatty acids that the baby needs. My point is, you have to look at the fact that you cannot say, oh, these animal products are all bad. I'm not trying to see over sensationalized articles and vegan propaganda about, oh, the rotting, putrefying flesh in the gut and you're dying. No, you can die from eating. In fact, you will get very sick if you do not eat a correct vegan diet. And very many, it's common. I'm going to say this clearly. It's common for vegans to be sick. It's common.
Yep.
It's so yes, Enqi, we all know that when you keep saying, but what about the DH, the omega-3?
I know about vegans, hair falling out and everything like that because they're not getting the right nutrition. You know how you know this is true too, is that when a person goes into and get that gastric bypass, they actually have to eat certain they have to take all these vitamins just to even keep because their hair will fall out the first year that they get that gastric by, their hair will fall out because their stomach is being rerouted, right? But it's because they're like missing nutrients. And if you like only did a vegan diet on that gastric bypass, you wouldn't even get actually take vitamins to do that.
Is coming from the plant source. It's not going to be able to rival a piece of fish on the plate and a pile of romaine. A pile of romaine on the plate. I'm gonna stand by this. A pile of romaine on the plate cannot rival the the omega-3s, the DHA, the fatty acids. Let me just say that. The fatty acids in a piece of fish and the proteins and all the nutrients that come. If you want to survive, you're going to eat that fish and you're going to survive longer than eating the pile of romaine on your plate. And again, I'm going to land my plane and say this. These are new vegetables. Listen carefully. The ones who are hating. 4,000 years ago, just 4,000. He said in Kemet, we didn't have broccoli and kale. We didn't have any of that. It didn't exist. So I'm not saying vegetables are bad. I love vegetables, but meat is good. And we should eat meat in whichever, like how you said, it depends on the person's diet. You have to gauge it to your diet, just like gorillas do. They eat an occasional rat. Okay. Deer they grow this membrane on their antlers and they eat that flesh. So I'm just doubling down. Meat is not bad for you. Meat is good for you. And I think you even agreed with me at the beginning of this. I'm not saying that we shouldn't eat vegetables, but I know we would survive better. We'd survive longer. If there was a choice between eating vegetables or meat, we'd survive longer eating meat. That's all.
Okay. So you said quite a few things. So for the record, since the article does not address the actual nutrients that make your brain grow, right? The nutrients that make your brain grow are omega-3s. Yes, omega-3s are involved, right? But it's more so choline and iodine. right? It's more so choline and iodine. So those are all from the plant-based sources, right? So there's that, right? But then I'm trying to figure out a way to address this idea of you saying that the red meat and alcohol can only contribute to heart disease if the person has traumatic experiences in their childhood. That was so crazy. I don't even know how to formulate a question.
That is not what she said.
I said stress.
Okay, so stress. You made a big deal about saying the ACEs, and then
When I was shaking
my head, heart disease is tied to cortisol.
When I was shaking my head and smiling, you made the assumption of what I was shaking my head about, and then filled my mouth up with a whole bunch of ideas. Oh yeah, you're shaking your head. That means you're saying this, and that means you're thinking that, and that means this and this and this. No, the only thing me shaking my head means is that I'm shaking my head, right? That's it. You can't infer or imply what you think I'm saying or what you think I mean by it. What I was thrown off by is because even if you say, first, you use ACEs, right?
Yes,
and you specifically reference these childhood traumatic experiences in regard to the red meat and alcohol leading to heart disease.
In regard to heart disease, not red meat and alcohol. No, okay. I didn't say. I said it's linked to heart disease.
Okay. So are you saying that the red meat does not contribute to heart disease?
I didn't remember. I said it does.
No, I'm just asking clearly right now, though.
Red meat exacerbates it, what we would say, for lack of better terms, it would exacerbate an already underlying issue.
Okay, so if there's no already underlying issue, can red meat create the issue?
If there's no underlying issue, eating red meat will not give you heart disease, no.
And it won't contribute either.
If there is an underlying issue, red meat will contribute to an illness.
If there's no stress, there's no issue. Listen, if stress, let me say this, because
answer the question.
Get out of jail free card, every single human that's alive and every single animal that's alive experiences stress. So if we're going to say that clearly the reason that people are having issues with red meat is because there's also stress. So because there's stress with the red meat, then there's issues. If we're going to add stress, like literally, we could say that crack cocaine is nutritious for people and it doesn't bother them except for the stress. If there's stress there, then crack can be dangerous. If not,
crack isn't a food.
Logical fallacy.
I'm just making a point to say that saying that stress
yes,
is the necessary catalyst for something to be damaging to the body is disingenuous.
No, it isn't. It's scientific.
No. I didn't say that stress is not a cofactor. I didn't say that high cortisol levels is not a cofactor in a wide risk of diseases. But what I'm saying is stress is a baseline factor in all humans and all animals' lives. So you cannot separate stress from any situation that goes on. Stress is a cofactor in somebody having a driving accident because their mind might not be completely focused on what they're doing while they're driving their car. But what I'm trying to tell you is that does not take red meat off the hook because you're saying stress because it's clear that and I just showed you about heme iron. If you're not sure what heme iron is, that's iron.
I know what heme iron is. Come on, don't insult me.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. And also,
but you didn't know what the expensive tissue hypothesis was until you Googled it today.
The expensive. First of all, I didn't need to Google that. That's like 30 years old. That's number one. Number two.
Yeah, and it's still relevant.
Hold on, it's not. But here's the thing. When you make these comparisons, saying that even gorillas eat a rat every so often, and baboons and bonobos and all this and all that, have you ever looked at the size of a human brain compared to those animals that you named?
Well, bonobos are very similar. Their brains are very similar to humans. So which one are you talking about? The gorillas, yeah, their brains are, but we have a lot of similarities with the bonobo as far as our neurological system.
Okay, but we're talking about brain size.
Well, brain size, obviously humans have bigger brains, but we're talking also about brain function, aren't we?
And you saying that bonobos have similar brain function to humans?
They have their brain tissue similarities. They have cognitive. They have cognitive. I'm answering your question. They have
can a bonobo like build a laptop or a cell phone?
Given if you put a bonobo in the right circumstance, the bonobo will perform. You can laugh if you want, but this is science. I mean, it's funny that you're laughing, but you say we can grow our pancreas back.
Hold on. So hold on. So here's the thing. How about we do this?
It's ironic that you're laughing at real science.
Okay, so hold on. Because I see that you keep trying to throw that out there.
No, but you do say that, don't you?
Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm just asking, I remember doing an interview or listening to you do a show, and you were it was interesting, compelling, but nonetheless, you said we could grow our pancreas back. And yes, there is some evidence that there's regenerative.
Don't take your statement back. Hold on. Don't take back your statement because you're trying to ridicule. You're trying to ridicule it, and you keep trying to use it as a punchline. So don't try to put a band-aid or two-way juncture in it. You on that side of the argument. Stay on that side.
You can't get because I want people to know.
When I pull up the science, then we just deal with it like that. Don't try to put a two-way.
No, we're going to deal with it truthfully. You said I'm misleading. Hold on, brother. I was talking. Enqi is going to show you that, yes, in a petri dish, you can see that there's reproduction of pancreatic cells. It's far from regrowing an entire pancreas.
But,
Now,
okay, hold on. Do you have me on video anywhere?
Oh, we got Alkaline City in the building, baby. We got Alkaline City in the building.
Alkaline City is in the building. XRP's going to 100 million.
So do you have me on video anywhere saying that you can regrow a whole pancreas, or you have me talking about specific cells inside the pancreas? I just want to know.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna. I see it's sensitive for you, but you were
No,
alluding.
sensitive. Hold on. Stop playing these words.
To,
yes or no? Do you have me on video anywhere saying that you can regrow a whole pancreas or specific cells in the pancreas? Yes or no?
You alluded to in a misleading way.
Did I say anywhere on video that you could regrow a whole pancreas? Yes
okay,
no?
are you going to let me answer it?
It's a yes or no answer. Yes
but
or no?
No, it's not a yes or no answer because you were misleading the crowd.
Do you have me on video anywhere saying that you could regrow a whole pancreas?
You were making people believe that they could grow their pancreas back.
No, I was not, because I was speaking specifically about beta cells inside the pancreas.
Got it.
I was speaking specifically about beta cells inside the pancreas.
Well,
so this is misleading of you to try to make people think or say something otherwise. And this is you doing exactly what you don't want to be done to you.
All right, then. I don't want to make you upset, but you did do that.
Don't put words in my mouth and don't try to say things that you can't back up. You know, here you got to source up.
Well,
so can
I did.
I said no, you did not. You just made a
statement. So you didn't talk about the regeneration of the pancreas?
No, I did not. I clarified it just now, and I challenged you to prove
bring up the video.
Specifically, I was speaking to beta cells in the pancreas.
Bring up the video. I hope she does.
Cannot pull up any video anywhere of me saying that you can regrow a whole pancreas.
Okay, well, you were discussing diabetes, and you were telling the people that you have compelling scientific information
that you can regrow beta cells. Correct.
Yeah, there you go. But see, I understand the science, but people would hear that and think, wow, I can regrow my pancreas. You just said it.
No, they would not.
You just said what you said.
Okay, if they're listening to me and they hear me say that there's science that says you can regrow beta cells, they would think that I'm saying
in the pancreas.
No, why would they think? See, now that's
everybody not gonna know what a beta cell is.
Listening audience. That's you disrespecting the viewers because
they don't know. I'm not disrespecting them.
It is because you're saying that they're not.
Everybody isn't doing science. Some people are doing other things. They're doing.
What you're saying is that the audience is not smart enough. That when I say regrow beta cells, that they're gonna hear me say beta cells and not go, oh wait, he said beta cells, but he really meant this, or he really meant that.
Yeah, because the audience, everyone in the audience isn't doing science. They're doing.
They don't need.
Why do you keep cutting me off when I talk?
Because I'm talking and you're cutting in. So
you stopped talking.
Okay, go ahead.
You sure? Because you asked me, I'm responding. You're trying to mislead the audience right now, and you're pandering to them. Everybody isn't in the audience studying science. They're very intelligent people. We have doctors, lawyers. We have technicians. We have artists. We have chefs. Everybody's not going to hear you say beta cells can be regenerated in the pancreas, and then think, oh, he's not talking about regrowing the pancreas. So don't act like I'm insulting the people. I mean, anyway, I forgot what we were talking about. We were going to talk. Oh, the brain. Oh, you were asking me about the bonobo. The bonobo can do several different. They can complete several different tasks that we as humans can accomplish, that we can do. We see them using tools. It's kind of like they're in their stone age right now. So they're using tools. They can cook. They can play video games. They play Minecraft. So the answer is yes. So and I didn't listen.
Actually, they could build a smartphone. So pressing the buttons. Hold on, pressing the buttons is different than building the actual game. Can they build a game?
The answer is because I can't build a smartphone, and I don't think anybody on this panel can. But directed, you're not catching the full science. With direction and with training, that is possible. Why do we know that, Enqi? Because they've been trained to play Minecraft. They've been trained to start fires. They've been trained to put out fires. They've been trained to cook. They've been trained to drive. They've been trained to talk. They've been trained to read. So if we know that they have that ability, they have the cognitive ability to take instruction. And yes, basically they would be able to build a smartphone with instruction. As I said, I don't know how to build a smartphone, neither do you, unless we have instruction. So they have exhibited the behavior and they have completed and accomplished tasks that prove that they could possibly do what humans do, which build smartphones, cook dinners. And listen, can somebody please time out Cosmon Cal? Because for some reason, every time he's over here, he has something to say negative about me. Time him out, or I can go in the chat and time him out too. I'm gonna time him out for 5 minutes. Don't say anything about me, Cosmon Cal. Okay, unless you want to get up here and get your waspy ass kicked. You praise the Bible by the slave master. Okay, and Enqi, I have a lot of love and respect for you. We're just in a little heated argument right here, but at least I respect Enqi. I don't respect anybody who worships a God that a white man created, especially not the slave master. Now, anyway, back to the bill.
Oh, yo, let me get my brother up in here, man. We gotta get Alkaline City in here now.
Go ahead.
His name is on the title.
Man,
So,
this
Alkaline
was
City,
good.
how much did you watch, brother? Yeah,
Man,
his
this
name
was
is in the
good.
title.
I'm sorry.
Mic check,
I'm
1
glad
2 1 2. Alkaline City's name is in the title. I'm in the building.
No, you
What's
put
up?
Vegan City.
Vegan, alkaline,
You put Vegan City.
alkaline vegan city. That's my new name. Now, what's up, Enqi? Sister Napah, I'm glad to share a panel with you guys. You guys are two of the most intelligent people in the HOK. So, I really do appreciate it. This is a very this conversation, it's a very well needed conversation, especially for nowadays. Okay. I want to start this conversation before I start throwing out screen shares and so forth and so on. We are suffering, in our communities, the Hispanic and the Black community, the urban communities, the hip hop communities, the hood communities. We're suffering. We're suffering from.
So now it's gonna be 2 dudes against 1 girl, and watch how she handles these people. I love
Deficiency.
I know too. He believe in flat Earth too.
Hollow Earth, yes, Hollow Earth. I'm a Hollow Earther. So we're suffering from deficiencies in the communities, and obesity, cancer, diabetes, sickle cell anemia, lupus, AIDS. Right, these are the deficiencies we're suffering from. If you go into all the schematics about what we eat, our deficiencies come from 100% of what we consume. Okay, we come from an alkaline state. What is an alkaline state? An alkaline state is the creator state. That's our God state. Our bodies can go into 2 forms. You either can be in an alkaline state, in God state, our creator state, our most high state, or you can be in a state of Satanism, a state of demonism, which is an acidic state. Okay, God state is 7.0 and above on a pH scale. The devil state is 6.9 and below. Okay, we can go into the immaculate conception of all of this. We can go into the actual the Bible text, and we can go into when Satan gave Eve an apple, or so-called it wasn't an apple. They try to perceive it as the apple because they always want the apple to be the demon fruit. So they put the apple in Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. They put the apple in all of these so-called Disney movies to demonize the apple. So Satan gave Eve the forbidden fruit. And when she consumed the forbidden fruit, it said her eyes went wide, like she got high. This was the first time of our body, the human body, consuming what is so-called acid, right? Something that was acidic, that was non-natural to our environment. Okay, these acids, when the purpose of living, right, and consuming is to feed our cells. Our cells, they are basically these little combustions of electrical energy. And the mitochondria has an explosion. The mitochondria is the brain of the cell. And when it has this implosion, it sends out an electrical current through your artery, through your vein. From your vein, it goes into your heart, your lungs, your brain. All of your bodies come to life because of the electrical currents that are going from your cells into your organs. That's one. Okay. So when we consume, hold on a second. I'm gonna land. I'm not gonna be that long-winded. So when we consume to feed our cell. Okay, so that our cell can continuously have this little combustion of electrical current to get dispensed to our organs. Okay, when we consume things that are acidic, they kill our cell. They do not feed our cell, and they cause deficiency to our cells in our body. What type of things are acidic? There's uric acid. Uric acid comes from meat. Lactic acid. Lactic acid comes from unnatural species, right? It'll come from a natural species, but a species other than a human. So because our bodies produce uric acid, hold on a second, our bodies produce uric acid and lactic acid, but this is a specific uric acid that is produced in our bodies to digest food. The same thing with lactic acid, it's naturally produced in our systems. The lactic acid that we're given is from a different species, from a cow. A cow is man-made, a cow is grafted by man, a cow is not natural. The original cow is called the wild ox. So if you're not getting natural meat from a wild ox and you're getting it from the cow, your beef, even if it's Wagyu or whatever, you're getting grafted meat that was made from a grafted animal. The chicken as well. The original chicken is called the wild fowl, right? The wild fowl, you cannot get a wild fowl nowadays. You get this grafted, hybridized version of the wild fowl. You get this chicken, right? So, but all meat, even if it's fish, chicken, or beef, causes uric acid. Uric acid is the leading cause to gout, heart disease, lung disease, clogged arteries, clogged brain tissues, so forth and so on, right? So carbonic acid comes from fake wheat. When we don't eat natural wheat and we eat fake pasta, brown rice pasta, semolina pasta, these wheats that are not natural, they're not spelt, they're hybridized, it's not kamut, Eurasian wheat, which is it's an Egyptian wheat. These are natural wheats, but we're not consuming spelt, we're not consuming kamut, and we're going to the semolinas or the brown rice pastas and all these other fake wheat pastas. It causes something called carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is another detriment to cell deficiency and a loss to oxygen in our bloods, oxygen in our brains, neurological disorders, ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, so forth and so on. So, and then the last but not least is the lactic acid. We are always consuming cheese. We're consuming milk. The milk comes, like I said, if we were to consume milk, we can consume breast milk from our own species. But when we go outside of our species to consume this lactosis that gets into our body, that eventually turns into a lactic acid, it's because the molecular structure from the DNA of the cow is not, it doesn't coincide with the molecular structure of the DNA from the human. So we are eating. I'm gonna let you go right now. I just want to say right, we are just eating foods that are acidic, that are not alkaline to our body, that are not feeding our cells, and that are causing electrical dysfunctions in our body, as opposed to gaining electrical currents and voltage to keep our organs alive. I digress.
Okay. Cool, bro. Almost everything you said was incorrect.
I can prove everything I said. I can prove everything I said, and you just tell me where I'm incorrect, and I'll prove it to you.
Okay. You said that.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just want to let you know before you start with me, I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. You don't know who you're talking to, my man. I will really spank you, and before I embarrass you, wholeheartedly, my man. Learn what you're about to tell me and what you're about to ask me, and make sure that you're correct before you get embarrassed.
Wow.
Now start with your first where I'm incorrect, so we can start there.
They argue with each other. The vegans are arguing with one another.
But after that little tirade there, I would like you to elaborate on what is one of them.
Oh,
You know who's one of them? One of these people that come up on the panel and you act like you could so-called banter them, and you can outwitty them with your so-called intelligence. Well, whatever you make of it. And if you think that's gonna happen, by you trying to second guess and question any of my authority, trust me, I got everything configured. I'll pull up, I'll screen share, and I'm always ready, my brother. So if you want to get embarrassed, we can go.
Okay.
That's if you're against me. I don't know if you're against me or not. I'm with the alkaline community. I represent, alkaline lifestyle. But if you're on my side, but you're looking to go against me, and you want to do that, I'll embarrass you that way too.
I don't understand. Why
I've been doing this for years, my brother. Learn who I am before you try to. I'm telling you, don't embarrass yourself.
The
Okay,
pause
listen,
for me.
Here's the thing.
These are
When you say
vegans
doing
right
this
here,
for years, right?
fighting each other.
I can respect that, but you haven't been doing it long enough to actually have a side.
Ego.
So by you saying that you're teaching alkaline,
You don't know how long I've been doing this, so you're just misjudging once again. I said, stay in your lane, my brother. Say what you know. Don't step out of line, because I'm telling you, I will embarrass you. I'm 45 years old, my man. Okay, I've been doing this since I was 21 years old. 45. Add another what? 24 onto that?
Hold on. You've been
24 years onto that?
Hold on. When you say you've been doing this
Okay.
for 24 years,
I've been in the alkaline community for 24 years. Yes, sir.
Hold on. You're saying that you've been teaching this science for 24 years, or you've been eating plants for 24 years? What you saying? You've been teaching for 24 years?
If you want to go into the science of how long I've been teaching,
how long you been teaching?
About 15 of those
Okay.
24.
Okay, so let's go to what the first statement that you said was, that our cells are combustion engines. Did you say combustion engines, or that the cells are little combustion units? I just want to go part by part to make sure that I don't say anything that, I don't want to misspeak. So what I heard you say was that our cells are mitochondria, which combust, and when they combust, electricity goes from the cell into our arteries and veins.
I can elaborate what I said.
No,
I said our cells are little combustion chambers. Okay, when you feed your cell, you feed the mitochondria, and the mitochondria has an implosion, and that's the combustion of the mitochondria. That's what disperses the electricity from the cell out into the artery. Do you know what the arteries are? The arteries are your veins.
Okay, hold on.
I'm just letting you know that.
But
do you know what is in the?
Bro, you gotta relax. I know you're excited to be here, but you gotta relax.
No, I'm not excited to be here. I'm just trying to correct you.
Hold on, listen.
I'm trying to correct you before you step out of line.
So egos, man. Look, this is the
I don't gotta
battle.
relax. I don't gotta relax. I am relaxed. I'm very calm.
Two men
Arteries
that's
and veins are not the
vegans
same
are
thing.
battling each
An
other.
artery is a vein.
about
An
vegans.
artery is a vein, my friend. Look it up.
Okay.
How much do you want to bet? How much do you want to bet on it?
So I'll let you have that. We'll move on from there. Arteries and veins.
Oh, you want to let me have that? No, just let the people know. Arteries are veins. You're wrong. I'm right. Number two, what makes up the inside of an artery that's living in your body?
Okay, hold on.
What are the parts that are flowing through your artery?
Sure. Let's stick with the mitochondria.
No, because you want to bring up the artery, and then you just made a misconjuncture by saying that the arteries are not veins. Yeah, a misconjunction on what you just said, saying the arteries are not a vein. Now you're saying, I'll let you. Now I said, yes, they are. Now that you really researched and thought into, hey, well, the arteries are veins, you said, I'll let you have that. So you're not going to let me have anything, my friend. I'm going to let you continue on to going into this artery spill, because now that we know it's a vein, What flows through this vein? Go ahead, really fast.
Blood.
What's in the vein?
So,
What flows through the vein? Blood. I'll give you one. Blood. What else?
Sir.
What else? Cells. Cells number 2.
Hold on.
Cells number 2. Cells number 2. What else? What else feeds the cells that's in the blood? What else feeds the cells that's in the blood? You're trying to look it up?
Minerals.
Platelets. Platelets. Do you know what the platelets are? Yes. The cells' little friends. They flow in the blood. So, and what is the blood called? What is the blood called that flows through the vein? What is the name of it? Mr. Enqi, you're so smart. What is the name of the blood? Plasma. Plasma, my friend. So we got arteries, which are veins. We got the blood, which is plasma. We got the cells, right, which are red and white blood cells. And then we got the platelets, which feed the cells.
Okay.
What else other than, you can go ahead, Ms. Napah. You can go ahead.
Okay, so you know Alkaline City that Enqi is a
I know very well who Enqi is, but he's not on my level.
Finish my sentence.
I apologize.
He's on this panel. He's a vegan as well. He's pro-veganism.
Yeah, I know he's just trying to go against me, but I don't know why if he's pro-vegan and he's on my side. But I'm just letting him know that he's talking to the wrong one. That whatever you got, brother, you better make sure you're on my side. If you're against me, you're gonna have a hard time, very hard time. And I'm showing him that right now because I'm dealing with him. So what's up, my brother? What's next? What's next on your agenda? Let's question Alkaline City to see how smart he is.
Oh wow.
Bro, you're just showing.
Blah 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 blah.
Let him speak, brother. Alkaline, let him speak, please.
Bro, that's not speaking. That's sagging.
Okay,
Word sagging.
take a deep breath and let's keep this a good build. So go ahead, Enqi. I think SaaNeter took away. So
brother just showing that he's belligerent. That's all he's doing.
I'm just showing that you just want to try to demean me with the first word, and you cannot do it, my brother.
Alkaline, let him have let him respond, brother.
No.
Could you mute out for a second?
Yeah, I got him.
Listen, he just want to just keep talking over me because he's seen enough videos to know how this thing looks. So
I've seen enough videos to know that you're a super clown, and I wasn't up here to clown you. I was actually up here, and I was gonna.
No name calling, brother, please. On both sides, on all sides. There's absolutely no name calling.
So can I jump inside?
If I said clown, I didn't mean to say that.
Yes, go ahead, Rob.
Hey, how y'all doing, man? Peace to the channel. Peace to the chat.
Peace.
Sister Napah, Enqi. Brother Alkaline, I want to say I appreciate your build, your scholarship, brother, but you are incorrect when it comes to arteries and veins. Arteries are vessels that carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood back to the heart. Two separate systems, totally. So when you say that, you make yourself look, let's just say, uninformed. So don't let anybody else hear you say that because you're completely wrong, and then you just dig yourself a deeper and deeper ditch. Because when we
brother, our artery is listen.
Alkaline, you gotta let him.
You gotta listen.
You can't cut people off, brother.
Yeah, just let me finish because I'm cutting the grass and doing this with my feet. I'm gonna go and let you rock. But arteries leave the left side of the heart with oxygenated blood and nutrients and carry that to the body. After that's used up, that deoxygenated blood and used up nutrients return to the right side of the heart via the veins. Those are two separate systems, brother. So when you jump down somebody's throat, call them, clowns, and then you say that, you are actually the clown. I'm just letting you know you're incorrect completely. So you might want to stop.
Okay, now I can correct you, my brother. No, I am not incorrect. Arteries are veins. Okay, no. Now, if you're trying to talk about specific, I want to go into the heart artery. What about the lung artery? Okay, now you're looking. Now you're trying to look for. Now you.
We gotta stop this. SaaNeter, we have to stop this. Listen, I understand, Si. Let me just say this to you, Si.
Go ahead.
I understand that you like to bring on new guys and all that.
Brother, don't try to put me down, brother. Let the science speak for it, bro.
Okay.
Understand? Let your scholarship speak for it. Don't try to demean me because it don't matter if I'm new, you're old, brother, and I'm older than you, but you're still old. You understand?
You're wrong. Brother, you're wrong, though.
Not put the brother down. Just drop the knowledge, Enqi. Go ahead.
No, you don't, Si. This is not about putting nobody down, but there's a difference. Listen, I've seriously been doing this for decades. Amir McCarthy, this is what he do. Amir McCarthy, real quick for the people, once again, for the 1,000th time. Can you tell these people what your expertise is, who you are exactly?
I'm a registered respiratory therapist. I specialize in cardiopulmonary therapy. I also teach pulmonary therapy at a college.
So this is what I'm saying, Si. When you just pulling guys up and the brother's saying the heart artery, the lung artery, and he wants to argue with us and say that veins are arteries and all this kind of stuff, it really is detracting from, because me and Napah was going at it, but we was at a certain level with the conversation. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the brother, but this ain't it, bro.
He's talking right now. He doesn't know he's muted.
Okay. Alkaline City. First, let me say this, brother. This is a really very tough environment, and people don't play over here, brother. So you can't get upset and get mad if you're wrong. Sometimes it's all right to say you got that one. My bad, because we not.
Mic check. Oh no, I'm not mad, SaaNeter. This ain't a tough environment. I'm not in a tough situation right now. I'm in a very light situation.
Yes, sir.
With light work right now. So they want to try to undermine what I'm saying. I'll pull it up right now. Veins are arteries.
There you go.
So,
There you
yeah,
go.
you want.
So when
We're
you pull
gonna
that up,
have to start screen sharing. That's what we're gonna have to start doing.
There you go.
Let me screen share for you guys.
okay, well, while you screen sharing,
Yeah, go ahead.
I can understand what you mean. They're both vessels. But there
Right.
are two totally different vessels, bro. They're not the same thing. And they are intertwined by what you call capillaries at the tissue level. They are two different things, bro. So, you need to just make sure you say, okay, you're wrong. I'm wrong on that. Let me specify what I mean. Because when you say veins are arteries, you are incorrect.
Mm.
Bottom line, brother. And it's okay. But you're wrong on that. You're in some deep water with me and Enqi when it comes to that. Now, the alkaline thing, that's your lane. You know what I'm saying? There are some alkaline and base excess in the blood that I don't think you probably know. But when it comes to the products and the water, that's your lane. But when it comes to arteries and veins, whatever you look up right now, you will not find nothing that says arteries are veins. I will give you $500 if you can screenshot a sentence from anybody
First of all,
saying that arteries
No,
are
no,
veins.
excuse me, Pastor. No, you mean any reputable scientific source. Don't say
Yeah.
anybody.
True that.
listen. Okay, because I don't know where this conversation is going with arteries and veins anyway. I just want to figure out where are you going with arteries and veins?
Pull up your source, Alkaline. Let's get it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up sources. I'm pulling up a whole bunch of sources right now because I'm ready for the smoke. But
But
I
you're not
want
gonna pull that one up. You won't pull that one up. You pull up
trust
some
me,
other
trust
stuff, but you
no,
won't pull that one up, bro.
I'm gonna pull up all of them.
That's just like saying the sun is the moon. That's just like saying that, bro.
listen.
That's two different things.
Listen,
Two different things. Bro.
not only when I pull them up, right? Not only when I pull it up, right? I'm just trying to figure out where's this conversation going with arteries and veins anyway.
I don't know. I just heard you saying that, and I had to correct
We know this is where blood flows. We know that this is where cells flow. We know that this is what carries oxygen into your organs.
But that's enough. Hold on right there. Veins don't do that. Arteries do that. Arteries do that. Veins don't carry blood to your system. Arteries do that, brother. Veins carry back old blood back to the heart so that it can pass through the lungs to get reoxygenated to go back to the left side of the heart and back to the body again through the aorta. That is an artery. So they're two different vessels. But I'm just saying, I don't have no problem with you, but they are two different vessels. Totally.
Let me
So you might as well stop looking for that.
No. Let me screen share right now because you guys are just talking way too much.
All right, well, I'm gonna let y'all have that one. So I appreciate y'all being on the panel. He talking about another. Yeah, he talking about something that's not human. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Okay, something that's not human. That's my screen shares up.
Sharing, brother. Let's go.
Okay. Let's see if you guys know how to read. Arteries and veins, also called blood vessels. Okay, so they're the same thing. They're called blood vessels. And what do? They are tubes of muscle that your blood flows through. He just said blood doesn't flow through the arteries and only the arteries, not the veins. But arteries and veins, also called blood vessels, are tubes of muscle that your blood flows through. You fucking degenerates.
Wow.
I apologize, SaaNeter, but they needed that one. They needed that one.
Actually, brother, you
Oh wait, I was just wrong, but I just showed you I'm right.
alkaline.
Artery and the vein are the same exactly.
Sam, you just got for a second. You just showed us that you cannot read good, brother. That did not say that arteries are veins. That said that arteries and the word was A-N-D. Arteries and veins are vessels. It did not say arteries are veins, which are vessels. It said arteries, which is one thing, and hold on, relax, young man, and veins are blood vessels. Then, if you finish reading that paragraph,
that's not what it says, my brother. I'm gonna pull it up again,
sir. You gotta stop talking while I'm talking.
No, because you're lying about what it says.
If I'm lying, then when I finish talking, you can prove that I'm lying.
Yeah, you can't speak while the other one's speaking, brother. It's one mic, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this for that much longer, Si. This is foolishness. Look, so again, now that it's on the screen, I can read it right there. See, it says arteries and veins. Nobody's lying on you. Nobody's lying on you or to you, young man. It says arteries and veins. And meaning two different things. That's why the word "and" is there. Arteries and veins are blood vessels. I said that, and so did Amin McCarthy. Both of us said they're vessels, but they are not the same. If you would continue to read, it says arteries carry blood away from
same exact thing. Arteries are. It says arteries and veins.
Stop talking over me.
One mic. You're gonna be able to go right after he finishes.
It says just what Amin McCarthy said to us, that arteries carry blood away from the heart to the rest of the body, while veins push back the blood to your heart.
That is what I said. Yeah, he said
that's right. And that's why I'm saying this guy is not only wrong, but he's wrong and strong. Now, the other things that he said don't even exist. There is no lung artery. There is no heart artery. Those are things that people make up when they don't actually know the anatomy.
No, first of all, hold on for a second. First of all, what I said was when you're calling out, because he called out a specific artery. I said, so call out your organ arteries, your heart arteries, your lung arteries, and so forth and so on. That's what I said. That's what I said. Now, if we get back into what is, if we get back into what is screen, hold on for a second. No.
Calm down. Hold on. Do you want to calm down and be a part of this conversation, or you want to keep behaving like you've been behaving?
I want you to mute up because I already muted up, and let me get off
So with
what
that
I'm
being
saying.
said, listen, Nepal, we got to do another one.
Let me get off what I'm saying.
Stop,
Because you know I'm gonna embarrass you. You're scared to get embarrassed. You're scared to get
Bro, you
embarrassed, my
already
friend.
embarrassed yourself, and I don't
No,
even have time for this.
you're embarrassing yourself. Let's get back to it.
All right, Enqi, don't go nowhere, brother.
No, I'm out. I'm not side. I don't do this kind of thing right here, bro.
Because he's unruly a little bit.
This is
The
way
way
too
he's
easy.
unruly.
Alkaline, I'm gonna have to let you go. You're gonna have to come do your own show, brother. You got to come do your own show. Because I don't want no disruption going on right now. Enqi, this is a perfect opportunity to teach, though, brother, and to sharpen up. That's what I'm saying, Enqi.
You gotta stop. Stop. There is no. All right, now that he's gone, you can take that off the screen. Listen to what I'm telling you, stop. There's no such a thing as sharpen up with that guy. Everything he said was absolutely incorrect. The only thing he did was mix in a few buzz like things that would make people want to buy something, or things that would speak to people that don't know anything. Like you saying a bunch of incorrect science, and then you throw in, because you know the meat's producing acid, and so people are familiar with hearing that from Dr. Sabi and other people. So that might lead them to believe you know what you're saying. But everything that he said about the body was incorrect. He said that mitochondria explodes, and when mitochondria explodes, electricity flies out of your cell into the artery. So this is what I'm saying. There's no way to sharpen up with that or do nothing with that. The only thing that guy could do is actually be a student, man. That's not nobody I can argue with. I can't sharpen up with him. I can sharpen up with Napah. Me and Napah can sharpen up. We can get in here and spar. You know, she gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit. We can do something because we closely in tune with the information. But him coming in and saying mitochondria explode, and then electricity goes into the arteries, and then arteries and veins are the same thing. And then I'm a clown because I'm not agreeing with him, and I better watch out because he's not one of them. And bro, I don't even need to present no information to prove that he's one of them. He is one of them. He came in here and said the craziest stuff of all time. Like, that ain't no health information. I feel sorry for the people that's listening to that as health information. Your mitochondria do not explode. Okay? Like, we got to stop this. Your mitochondria don't explode, and electricity does not fly out of the cell into the artery. Like, sorry, that's all just all bad. But
the cold part was he came in and said, "Oh, Enqi, you're so smart. You're the most amazing person in the HOK." And remember, that's the first thing he said. Say you're the smartest person on the HOK.
And then went right to you clown, and this is and that, and F this and F that, and I'm correct, and y'all are wrong. And I'm like, wait, brother, I'm Ron McCarthy. Can you let the people know your credentials again? Well, you know, I'm a college professor, and I'm like, wait, what are we doing right now? Then he said lactic acid is coming from the beef, and this is and that. Like, young man, I know enough to know where you're making your errors and where they came from. And some of it may be passion, but you got to relax, especially when you're in the presence of greatness, man. Like, what he was talking about is lactate, or lactose rather, from sugar. He's talking about milk sugar, which is lactose. That's not the same as lactic acid. Lactic acid is produced in your muscles when you exercise. That don't have nothing to do with whether you eat meat or not. Whether you eat meat or not, your muscles are going to produce lactic acid. Carbonic acid comes from your respiration. That don't got nothing to do with eating meat. Whether you eat meat or not, your body's still going to produce carbonic acid if you cannot breathe fast enough to get the carbon residue from the glucose out of your body. That's literally what your body does. When it takes a 6-chain carbon atom, which is the glucose, it breaks it down one time into 2 3-carbon atoms. That has to be broken down again. This is happening in your Krebs cycle. Those 2 3-carbon atoms have to be broken down again. When you break down a 3-carbon atom, you can't split an atom. So you get 2 carbon atoms and 1 carbon atom. The 2 carbon atom pairs are shuttled off as acetyl-CoA. The single carbons that's left by itself, your body has to put 2 oxygens with each one of those to make CO2, carbon dioxide, and we get rid of that. When the carbon dioxide is lingering around too long, hypercapnia, it could blend in with the water, and then you get carbonic acid. This what I'm saying. So I ain't no sharpening up with these type of guys like this, man. These guys is not like, I got to bring students on to sharpen up. Like, he needs to just be a student. Y'all should come over, brothers like Alkaline City. You need to come over to American Healer YouTube page and come over there, and he needs to sharpen up, and then come back out and present himself and talk crazy and bravado and all that. But you made a big mistake with the bravado on top of the ignorance. Like, if you just didn't know any better and you was cool, we could have schooled you, cleaned you on up, and we could have been moving on to other subjects right now. But the bravado with the craziness and all that, and I'm glad you did that to me, because if you would have did that with Napah, you would probably been banned from the channel. So it's a good thing. And I was just trying to clean him up on the anatomy stuff that he was getting wrong. She was going to come in and clean him up on the food stuff, because I agree with the plant-based ideology, but all of his science is just incorrect. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't, go along with that. So that's.
I want y'all to stay tuned. We got a special guest coming on in a few minutes. I think y'all gonna like it, Enqi. You're gonna like it, Enqi.
Oh, I know who it is.
Who?
I'm not gonna say.
Say it if you know. Say it. I'm gonna give you a hint, Napah. when we was in California, he was doing the Michael Jackson with you. Don't say it. Don't say who. Don't say who it is. Don't say it. He'll be in a minute. I just spoke to him.
Okay.
He deals with this.
All right. Well, in the meantime, let's see. Before he came in, that was kind of wild. I have to do with this, Enqi. He's
Queen of Four raised me on, the spirulina, the chlorella, the alfalfa, the dandelion, and she makes sure to emphasize minerals and emphasize nutrient-dense foods and vegetables. So that would look like choosing the top 3 to 5 fruits that are giving you that most benefit, like hitting different areas, not only the natural sugars, but let's say digestion. Well, they all help with digestion, but some a little more than others will clean you out, right? But basically, fruits and vegetables that have a multi-use of source, right? So she would focus on, let's say, spinach and kale. Out of all the leafy vegetables, those have the more dense nutrients out of their other brothers and sisters in the greens. So let's say, for example, she would emphasize that. The healthy carbohydrates daily, every human needs it. I think the problem with a lot of vegans is they tend to be starchitarians, meaning 80% to 100% of their diet is mainly on carbohydrates. Healthy carbohydrates are important. You have to incorporate them, but they should not be your end-all be-all, right? Protein. Queen gave me a variety of sources. Yes, in the 80s, we were exposed to the soy wave because that was the wave a lot of the vegans and vegetarians were pushing at the time. But what she did not, she got us out of that loop because she wanted to diversify our eating habits. So she introduced us to protein sources in the nuts, in the legumes, in the different grains. Like a grain, for example, like quinoa. Quinoa is both a protein and quinoa is also a healthy carbohydrate. Right? Queen made sure we had a healthy fats, our cold pressed olive oils, our coconut oils, and the fats. Like I said, fruits and vegetables. So you want to hit all of those areas for nutrition. You want a fat source daily. You want protein source. You want your fiber, which is your fruits and vegetables. Of course, water too, right? And you want to be able to hit all of these dynamics in every meal, whether it be a liquid meal or solid meal. So a lot of the parents, a lot of times, are not understanding the variety of nutrient-dense fruits and vegetables that can aid their children if they're not on a traditional American diet. You have to do your research, because I like how both you was talking about that, sis, and you too, Brother Enqi. Do your research and then open yourself up with grace and humility and explore. You may not get it all right at one point, but explore different things. Some people try different modalities. Some people do the Dr. Sadie. Many people don't do it, but you find what works for you. And you create a regimen that you can be disciplined to see the results. So you study yourself over a period of 21 days of observation and see how, are your bowels moving? Every meal that you eat as a solid should be going through your body with flow and ease. If you're using the number 2 and you're having a hard time releasing, even if you're vegan, you may be eating too much starches or the inability to process all of that heavy carbohydrate. So you have to increase your water. My whole point of coming on real quick, and I'll pass the mic, is to let you know that it is possible to raise family members and children into full adults on a plant-based vegan lifestyle. I'm 47 years old. I have no health disparities. And like Sister mentioned earlier, there's so much to explore beyond soy. I know that people coming trans soy and all of that fake food, fake stuff is for people psychologically more than nutritionally, coming from a Western diet and trying to get over it. All their lives they've been eating a certain way. So when they kind of get stuck in the whole fake chicken and the fake beef, because psychologically they still attached to that old lifestyle. But it's really meant for a transition lifestyle. So I'm not here to dog walk somebody that is on soy and those derivatives. I'm saying that it is outside of that paradigm. There's so many ways you can get your protein intake. SaaNeter definitely helped me in the past with my Super Mega Greens formula. That is a nutrient-dense chlorophyll blend that acts as amino acid concentration through the chlorophyll greens, so it helps to muscle mass synthesis. Look at this. I'm 198 pounds. I'm not vegan, anorexic vegan. I'm a bodybuilder. I train heavy resistance training. I don't eat any meat. I don't eat any flesh. I don't eat any dairy products. So I'm just here to say, regardless of what outside the argument you're on, it is possible to gain muscle mass being vegan. Okay, it's possible to raise a child with proper nutrient-dense protocols consistently. That's what separates my mother and her peers. She was very intentional on meal preparation and also inviting us into what she called the kitchen healing laboratory, so we can prepare meals with her. We can prepare the salads with her. We can prepare the fruits and work with the herbs and the different grains and whole nuts and seeds. And so we begin to get more familiar. And so I would invite the parents also, if you're making a transition and you're really diligent, invite your children, in the kitchen with you and prepare that, really reintegrate that space. Brothers, if you live alone and single, stop a lot of that outside going to a restaurant and just create a healing laboratory in your home to give yourself proper nutrition and really explore. There's so many fruits and vegetables, so many grains, so many protein alternatives, even in the plants and minerals that you can get to sustain yourself. But you must do the research. Give yourself a little bit of time to experiment and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and ultimately create a disciplined plan of action that can hold you accountable to your wellness goals. I just wanted to interject that. I didn't want to stop y'all's bill, but I appreciate the family.
Thank you, brother. Hey, before you go, let the people know where they can find you at, brother.
Yes, family. I'm on YouTube, supernovasalom.com, SUPANOVASLOM. But you can also type in my name, Supernova Salam, to my website, and you can get just aware of all of the things that I'm offering the community, from my Man Heal Thyself Rites of Passage program for brothers, the best-selling book, Man Heal Thyself, and my book, The Holistic Remedy. And I'm here at service, family. I appreciate the panel. Thank y'all, family.
One last thing.
Brother
before you
Enqi,
go.
peace, beloved.
One last thing before you go, bro.
Yes.
One last thing. How's mama doing?
Mom is doing phenomenal, SaaNeter.
All right.
In regards. Let's to the chat.
Hey, bro, before you go, I just want to show you I got my liquid chlorophyll right
Let's
here.
go,
too.
brother. Let's go. Activate it.
Right there.
I love to see. Salute to you, beloved. Activate.
Look, I had it at arm's reach.
Come on, there we go.
Thank you so much for that input. Thank you.
All right. So if you guys want to watch the rest of that, and shouts out to SaaNeter and Napah for that build. If you want to watch the rest of that, I think it's on the Rise channel. Let me show you the channel real quick, where you can see the rest of it at. You go to the reality is simulated. Hold on. This is Napah. Reality is simulated. This is on the Rise channel. Just type in Napah Shada and you'll find her channel. And on top of that, I mean, they talk about. They have a bunch of different lives where they talk about different things. I think if you go into the live thing, you'll see a lot of like different debates that they have on here about different like things about the solar eclipse and the religious like conversations and everything. Sit down. Me and Napah, we actually interviewed young Pharaoh. I can't find it, but it's somewhere on here. So yeah, go check her out. It's 4 o'clock. I need to go take my behind the bed. But I just want to thank you guys. Take care. I hope this was educational, and good night.
I'm living in abundance. I'm living my truth. No one can stop my glow up. I'm shining through and through. I'ma show you how I manifest. Getting past the rest, passing the test. Living out my destiny, abundantly me. I'm living in abundance. Don't wanna waste time, constantly manifesting. I'm feeling alright. I'ma show you how I manifest. Getting past the rest, passing the test. Living out my destiny, abundantly me. I'm living in abundance.